Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're anything like me, you have a TBR list that is a million miles long. But if you're also like me, there's always room for one more book. So today I'm gonna tell you 5 spoiler-free reasons why you absolutely have to read Project Hail Mary. Yeah, that's Ryan Gosling. I love a good sci-fi book that's full of very high-stakes action and good humor. It's also a very big plus if it has that. Project Hail Mary is the perfect mix of those, and Andy Weir, the author, did a fantastic job on this, just like he did The Martian. If you haven't read it, this has got to be on your list, I'm telling you. And like I said, yes, Ryan Gosling is involved. There's a movie coming out March of next year, and you've got to read the book before you watch the movie. It's only right. But don't worry, no spoilers are to be had today. I'm going to leave this spoiler free. I'm just going to list my 5 reasons on why this needs to be added to your list right now. If you're into space and problem solving and a very relatable main character, like I said, you have to read this. I'm gonna say it 100 times during this video. You have to read Project Hail Mary. And here's reason number 1. A relatable protagonist is in an absolutely wild situation. All right, we gotta start off with the main character, Ryland Grace. He is, well, how do we describe him? If you're thinking of like a traditional space hero who's just ready to go save the world without a second thought and just very, has it all together, Ryland Grace is not your guy. And honestly, that is one of the reasons why I absolutely love this book. He is so relatable. He's just a history teacher. He's not some big brain scientist. He's not in the military or anything like that. He's just an average Joe like you or me. And like I said, it just makes the book so much more relatable that somebody similar to me got thrown into a situation like as insane as this is. So a little bit about the story. Ryland wakes up on a spaceship with no memory of who he is or what he's doing, which, I feel like you see that a bit in stories as an intro where, somebody doesn't remember who they are or how they got to where they are at that current place in time. But I thought it was really well done at the beginning of this book, and it sets it up very, very well for how the rest of the story goes. Honestly, and like I said, I think that's one of the things that makes it so much more relatable. He's thrown into such a high-stakes situation, and he's just a regular guy trying to figure it out and trying to figure out how best to accomplish his mission. And don't get me started on how good the dry humor is. That's my thing. I love dry humor, and they absolutely nail it in this book. I'm telling you, Andy Weir has just a gift for it. But yes, reason number 1, Ryland Grace, our protagonist in the story, is just so genuine and relatable. It makes for such a fun read. Reason number 2, Andy Weir's blend of science and humor in this book. If you're familiar with Andy Weir's work, one of his other big books and movies is The Martian, and he does it very well in that book as well. The perfect blend of being funny and all the super difficult, hard, mind-numbing science stuff, making it very easily understandable to somebody who's not easily able to understand stuff like that. And Project Hail Mary is no different. Andy Weir's ability to make super complex and difficult to understand scientific topics like physics and chemistry and engineering and all that kind of stuff very easily to be understood by everybody is just a magnificent gift, and he does it in a way that makes it fun to learn along the way. I think that's one of the main things that sets this book apart is you don't have to have all this prior knowledge of how all these things work and how they work together. He makes it that easy for just any average person to jump in and be able to enjoy the book. But like I said, there's that perfect blend of humor. Ryland, our protagonist, often narrates his thoughts in a very dry and sarcastic wittiness to it. And I think that makes even the tense situations very fun and lighthearted, and it just doesn't make anything like very dark and like melodramatic where there's no hope. I think that keeping up that sense of sarcasticness and fun along the way really set this book up well for me and made me love the main character that much more. It's a really unique combination that he uses, and he does it, like I said, he blends it together so well to make the understanding of the science behind it all not feel like a lecture. And our main character doesn't know every little thing about all the different situations that he's thrown into, but the way that he builds up to it and goes through the process of learning all the different things makes it feel like you'd be able to understand it and do it yourself as well. To me, it was really refreshing to see the character struggle so much, but obviously come through that and learn the situations and make me feel like I came along with for the ride of him understanding how it all worked together and figure out the solution. Reason number 3 is a riveting and high stakes plot. Now let's talk about the plot. Project Hail Mary it's a space book, it's a sci-fi book, but don't let that pull away from the reality of what this story is about. It's about the mission. The whole story is built around the mission itself and how this can determine the fate for humanity as a whole. The story is always tense, having you at the edge of your seat, and it's full of surprises. We're following one person going through this whole series of events, figuring out all these different things that could affect the outcome and the fate of humanity, but there's always something new to be learned. You never know which way it's gonna go. There's so many twists and turns in it. It just makes for such a satisfying read. I absolutely adore the way that the whole story progressed throughout the whole book. On top of everything else, he's on a time limit. Every little breakthrough that's done throughout the story feels huge, and it's game-changing. And when you think that things are gonna go right and go Ryland's way, there's always a curveball that gets thrown. It's insane. I don't know, it's insane. Reason number 4 is a unique alien encounter. Okay, I can't, like I said, spoiler-free review. I can't give too much away, but I think it's pretty obvious that there might be some aliens involved in the story. The story is about the problems that Earth is facing and the threat to humanity, but this alien encounter adds a whole new dimension to the story and takes it a way that I never thought it was gonna go. This encounter was done so well. It's not your typical alien encounter like you read and you see in all these like thrillers and that kind of thing, like the movie like The Thing, like an alien encounter like that. But it's just done so well. And I gotta say, the way that these two beings came from such different backgrounds and the way that they interact was by far my favorite part of the entire book. It just blew my mind how well this was written and just all the depth that went into this encounter. It's just, I don't know how Andy Weir does it, but he just does it so well. Like I said, this isn't an alien invasion. Like, you get dedicated to the characters that are in this book, and I think by the end, you're gonna feel the same about it as I am. I am so truly invested in every character that showed up throughout the entirety of this story. I can't explain how well done it is. You just have to read it for yourself. Reason number 5, an unexpected depth to the book that I never expected. Now, I think that this is the portion of the book that really shines over everything else. Like, obviously, it's very cool. There's a lot of humor and science and space and that kind of thing, but there's so much more depth to the story that made this book a top tier book for me and probably my favorite book of all time. This book has some really deep themes just so well embedded within everything else, such as isolation, sacrifice. I mean, Ryland had the entire weight of humanity's fate and future on his shoulders. And I think that integrated with everything else, like the humor and the science, really moved it to that upper echelon of books for me, personally. Despite how fast-paced and high stakes that the story is, there's a ton of emotional weight built into the story. You're always wondering how he's making these decisions, how they're gonna affect everybody in the story, humanity as a whole, all that kind of thing. And it's just so good. I'm at a loss for words a lot of times when I'm trying to explain it to somebody like my wife, how good that this book is. It really makes you reflect on some of the tougher aspects of being a human in this situation. There were a lot of moments within the book that I still think about. You know, that made me think long after I closed the book, and I haven't read it for a few months, but I think that's one of the things that really made Project Hail Mary separate from every other sci-fi book and make it one of my top books of all time. I don't know, the emotional depth that was in this book just took me by surprise, and I don't know, it was just such a welcome and unexpected treat that Andy Weir gave me, and I hope that you guys decide to check it out and you enjoyed it as much as I did. All right, there we have it, our 5 reasons why you need to read Project Hail Mary. Trust me, just do it. Don't overthink it. Put it on your TBR along with the 500 other books that you already have on there. Maybe you get lucky, find it at Goodwill, download it. I don't know, just get it. I heard the audiobook's really good too if you haven't checked it out. But if you do decide to read it, come back, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you want to see more of these, make sure you like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. I can't wait to make some more book content. I'm super pumped about it. I love this stuff, and I'm excited to get back into reading a little bit more and share my thoughts on everything. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one.